comedians or whatever, and they I know, for instance, easily the best interviews in sports and the most accommodating people are hockey players. No question like that. So I don't know what it is about Canada, maybe the challenges of climate or whatever that make people more normal. So Bieber was kind of out of the, he was out of the norm.
Well, it's the same way, and I've said this hundreds of times because I've interviewed so many musicians from Great Britain, but almost unfailingly they are polite and respectful to the media, even if you can tell they don't really want to do the interview.
Right.
They will give you their time, and they will respect, your job and what you have to do. So, there's something about the Canadians. I know they're just brought up kind of not to be rude. Not that there aren't rude Canadians, because I've been over there. But I think the ones who are out there and pursuing stardom, it's almost like they've been they've gone to like some charm school, and here's what you do, and here's what you don't do. But he's out there for the long term for sure. And we'll see how he navigates going from being primarily, a teen heartthrob to trying to be an adult, draw an adult crowd. But he seems like he's already started doing that.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about cover bands and tribute bands, and certainly a band that would warrant a tribute band, but you better be ready to do it right, would be Earth, Wind, and Fire, who you saw at Starlight. Super hot evening, but a super hot show, too.
Still, yeah. It was a Sunday night, and it was really warm, but I bet there were like more than 7,000 people there, and a really diverse crowd. And they came out like just about right on time and played for about 95 minutes. I had wished they would have played a little longer because there were a couple songs they left out. But, man, they started in fifth gear, 100 miles an hour, and didn't stop. And they sound just as good as they ever have. I don't think I hadn't seen them in a while. Like I think 2010 maybe.
Yeah,
so.
I think that's the same show I saw.
Mm-hmm. And it rained that night, but it was still crowded. But they sounded just as good, the other night as they did then. And it's just you remember how many great songs they've written and recorded, and how timeless and durable those songs are because they sound just as fresh now as they did when they put them out in the late 70s. Some of them,
right. And Philip Bailey, there's three original members, and Philip Bailey is a primary singer, and he went off on his own a little while after Earth, Wind, and Fire, but then he's been back for a long time, and apparently an amazing voice, and that's, he's got to be in his 60s, I would imagine, by now. Maybe more.
Older than that,
Maybe older
He's
than
got
that.
a son
and his son's in the band, right?
His son's in his late 20s, so yeah, who knows? He's, yes, his voice doesn't sound affected at all by
there's some high note stuff that they have to do, which would be a challenge if he wasn't. It could be that's when bands have to either tame what they do or they don't do it that well anymore, and people just are willing to put up with it.
Well, you hear that when Elton John performs, he has to change register, and it changes the dynamics of the song. But they're still great songs. So Philip Bailey did that. I remember it was like 1984 or 5 where he did that duet with Phil Collins,
right?
Easy Lover. And I love that song, and I wish Earth, Wind, and Fire would take that and go with it because it would only make a really good song better. But yeah, he sounds. I don't know. I didn't notice much of a difference in his voice.
Yeah, so still a great show to go see. You always wonder, like the last time the Stones were here, I could have gone, and I didn't, and it was a bad move. I've never seen them, but I thought to myself, I've seen so many concert shows, films and things like that, and they're great. And am I really going to go and have that kind of experience? And apparently, still, it's really good. So I kind of regret that. And now that I didn't do it this time, I'm probably not going to do it now because it's one more step down the line. So that's always maybe a little line you have to cross or decide to cross with people that are your favorites. Maybe also,
Well, I mean, speaking of the Who, they came this whatever version of the Who you want to call it. I mean, it's Pete Townsend, two guys. Yeah, I was really dubious when they came to Sprint Center like 2 years ago because they canceled a couple times because of Roger Daltrey's voice, and it's like, are they hobbling in here, and are they going to do themselves justice? And boy, they did. It was great, and that Stone show you were talking about was one of my favorite shows ever. And part of it was because I was so close. I got seats right up against the stage. I was 6 feet away from Mick Jagger when he came down to our end of the stage, and It was mind-blowingly good.
Oh, shut up!
I know, really. I was messaging from there, and people were like, "Oh, damn!" I was wavering, and I said,
Right,
well,
that was the same thing. I could have gone for nothing too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not a good move by
my
me.
wife, my girlfriend at the time, was one of those who was bummed. She's like, "Oh, stadium show, I don't know," and I would have had a great seat for it. And then she was messaging me like, "Damn it!" I said, "Oh well, okay, it's not that good, but really it is." Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at some shows maybe people don't want to miss coming up around here locally. Coming up next as we visit with Tim Finn. It's Arts and Lifestyles Wednesday, brought to you by the Exit Room of Lee Summit. We visit with Tim every other Wednesday. It's always a pleasure to do so, and we'll do more of it coming up next.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here with Joe Spiker, the president of Easton Roofing. And Joe, you worked for other companies in the construction industry. What inspired you to start your own company in Easton Roofing?
Well, Danny, when you are working for somebody else, you oftentimes don't get to see the project through from beginning to end, and you don't get the final control over the customer experience. And I wanted to build a place where people can come and get work done on their house and not have to worry about being treated the wrong way and get a good customer service experience start to finish.
The company slogan is "Where Integrity Matters." Why is that so particularly important to you?
Well, for us, what that means is treating each other with respect at work, treating our clients with respect, and making the right choice, especially when no one's looking. So when you're presented all the time as a contractor with choices that have to be made, are you going to make more money on this if you cut a corner? And we just wanted to make a place and a slogan that said to our people and to whoever is our customer, we're not going to do that. We're going to make the right choice regardless of profit.
Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.
Before you spend your time and money going after an MBA, ask yourself why. Is it so you can tell people you got your MBA? So you can add a line to your CV? So you can call it a CV instead of a resume? Truth is, any MBA will do that. On the other hand, if your goal is to learn how to successfully manage and grow a business with real-world insights from experienced professionals, well, consider getting your MBA from Park University. Our low student-to-teacher ratio gives you personalized attention, and our face-to-face and online classes offered in 8-week terms are designed with working professionals like you in mind. No wonder the Kansas City Business Journal ranks Park University as the top MBA program in the area. Classes begin June 10th at all 4 KC area locations: Parkville, Downtown, Independence, and Lenexa. Visit park.edu to get started.
I was duped, and I recommend you be next. For better or worse, the ultra-realistic impression of me sits now in my wife's office to spook her on a daily basis. So what is Doob? D-O-O-B. It's the keepsake of a lifetime, a 3D-generated, incredibly lifelike figurine. 66 cameras take an image at exactly the same moment in any pose, and state-of-the-art 3D technology transforms that into exact replicas of you, anyone you know or love, a pet, whomever is close to your heart. Create lifetime memories with a Doob. Visit their Facebook page at Doob 3D Kansas City, or better yet, see their incredible creations. Visit their location down on the plaza in the heart of it at 231 West 47th Street in KC Mo. Doob, be next. Get a refreshing change of your expectations of a sports bar and restaurant at the 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence. Matt Llewellyn's welcoming spot at Clinton Parkway and Cassold covers all the bases, like their own handcrafted beers and all the televisions you need for great sports viewing. But it's the large, varied, and delicious menu that stands apart. From a favorite of mine like the awesome ahi tuna appetizer to great sandwiches, outstanding pizza, and truly fantastic entrees, the 23rd Street Brewery has it all. Matt and his friendly staff make it that much more enjoyable. Food until 10, fun until late. The 23rd Street Brewery is a can't-miss stop when you are in Lawrence. We're back with Tim Finn on Arts and Lifestyle Wednesday, presented by the Exit Room of Lee Summit. It's Danny and Tim's music scene every other Wednesday. And, of course, you can hear Tim as well with John Hart on 90.9 The Bridge, Thursdays at 4 o'clock. And he's around doing a whole lot of different things. So just follow him on Facebook and all that stuff, and you'll find out where Tim is out and about at. And let's talk about some of the shows that people can enjoy over the next few days. And One of those is at Providence Medical Center Amphitheater, which many people still think of as Sandstone. Still, the last time I went to Sandstone, and it was Providence Medical Center Amphitheater then, was a few years ago to see the Killers. And I'm still amazed that they kind of get away with not having done anything to the place. I mean, it's big and it works because it's a hill and everything, but from the monitors, at least then, I don't know, to everything else, it really looks like it's just plopped there from 1985, and they haven't done anything with it.
Yeah, they slept on some paint in a few places. They've upgraded the VIP club, and they took out seats, so it's a GA standing in the front.
Right.
Not all the seats, but just in the front. That's about it. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure how much you would want to put into that, given that it's a very part-time venue. And,
right.
They don't do as many shows as Starlight, which also does live
right.
theater. So, yeah, it's still serviceable. It's the only large amphitheater we have, and if it gets us shows like this one on Friday, then
right.
You know,
and that's Jason Isbell and the 400 unit with Brandy Carlisle, and you call these two of the best songwriters of their generation, which is high praise. Mm-hmm. So give me some high praise.
So Jason Isbell started off as a member of the Drive-By Truckers, one of my favorite bands, very sort of gothic southern rock, alternative country, and they had 2 or 3 songwriters in that band when he was with them. He eventually left. He had married the bass player, I think, and then that ended, and he was doing a lot of he had substance abuse issues, and he wanted to be a solo artist, so he cleaned up, and he's remarried to Amanda Shires, who's another great songwriter, and has put out some really stellar solo records, some of them just as Jason Isbell and some of them with his band, and he's just a really introspective songwriter, a real gift for writing penetrating lyrics. He's very thoughtful, and he can capture like universal moments and put them into words, simple words. So there's some poetry to his lyrics. So he's a really great live performer. I saw him. He and his band opened. There was a show, Elson Krauss in Union Station, and then Willie Nelson out at Starlight, and they opened and they fit right in. I mean, he held his own, on that lineup. And I saw him he was in town for a show, maybe he's at the Midland, and so we came in and did a solo afternoon set at the Bridge at their studios, and oh man, that was just mind-blowingly good. There's a guy on a guitar.
Right.
Sometimes he does shows solo, and then he came with his wife opened for John Prine and performed with them, and he came along with her. So I got to see him do a couple songs with his wife and John Prine, and that was, I mean, that's the stature he's
right
at now. I think John Prine considers him a peer, so
right.
he's that good. And then Brandy Carlisle is just, they're different songwriters, but she writes songs that are just as emotional and as emotionally stirring as he does. She's a little more anthemic. She was on the Grammys this year, and all anybody talked about the next day was her performance of the song called "The Joke," and it's a very personal and inspirational song. And there were people who had not ever heard her sing a note who were talking about it on Facebook the next day. And every time I've seen her, she's openly gay, so she has a really good the gay crowd mm-hmm. shows up to watch her and listen. She's had the same band pretty much forever, so there's a real closeness or intimacy among them and the crowd. Everybody knows who's in her band, and she's a really, really honest, engaging live performer. Her music is great, but her shows are even better. And it's really stunning that these two are going to be on the same bill, because they could probably draw, easily 3,000 or 4,000 each. And we'll see how big the crowd is.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I just wanted to, before we go into another artist who is in that sort of Americana type of genre, what do you think was your affection for good country music? Where do you think it grew, or what do you think it is about it that, somebody who is has made your life covering popular music, which, the country sort of fits in that, but